presents Dick Powell, Charles Boyer, David Niven, Ida Lupino.
Come on, get out of there. Say, is your name Henry Van something or other?
Yes, it is.
Then you're it. Come on, get in here.
What about these black things, are they safe?
They are, but you won't be unless you get in here.
Well, how about my suitcase?
Well, you got most of it there. Toss it in back. Come on, get in here. Say, what was you trying to do here a few minutes ago? Get yourself killed?
I just wanted to make sure you'd stop, that's all.
Dang it, I had to stop and pick you up, didn't I? What? Now, don't get scared. See, you dudes must have a charmed life. But if you pull any more of them crazy stunts back at the ranch, I won't be responsible.
Hey, how far is this ranch?
Oh, 10 or 11 miles.
Oh, why didn't they send a car?
Haven't got one. Milo Romer don't cotton much of them mechanical contraptions. Neither do I.
Oh, I see.
Besides, there ain't no fun riding around in a car like there is in a buckboard. Ain't that right? Nice to have met you, young man.
I'm very happy to know you, too.
Well, I brought him in like you said, Miss Claret.
Oh, Henry, you poor thing. You must be miserable. Here, let me help you with this. Please, Henry, Dad may be here any second.
Everything all set?
Not exactly.
Do you mean you haven't told him yet?
Well, not everything. I told him that I'd met you while I was away at medical school, but I didn't tell him we were going to be engaged.
You mean you didn't tell him we were going to be married?
Oh, it's going to come as such a shock to him. He doesn't like anything about the city.
Yes, I know.
That's why I thought it'd be a good idea for you to come down here and meet him first. And then he can see what a wonderful person you are.
Look, why can't we just slip away quietly and get married?
Oh, no, Henry, I love my father, and I want him to respect the man I marry. It would just about break his heart if I were to run off like that. You can understand that, can't you?
Oh, yes, yes, of course.
Dad has his heart set on my marrying someone who can run the ranch.
Do you mean live here?
Well, yes.
Oh, but that's ridiculous. What about my practice? And what about you? You've got to finish your pre-med.
Well, I don't see how I can. Dad wants me to give it up and stay here.
Well, we just have to talk him out of it, that's all.
You don't know Dad.
Oh, but I know you, and if you to stop now...
Yeah.
Good heavens. It's Indians or something. Come on, quick, come on.
Henry! Where are you going? Oh, don't be ridiculous. Hi.
Hello, baby. What are you doing? Playing a little game of hide and seek?
No, Dad.
Well, what in thunderation was that?
Well, that... Oh, Dad, you remember the wonderful man I was telling you about?
Is that him?
Well, yes. Oh, Henry, come on out. I want you to meet Dad and Cal.
Is that what they look like in New York?
Oh, you can't blame Henry. Henry, this is my father. Dad, this is Henry Van Adams.
Van Adams.
And this is Cal Orway. Cal, Henry.
Howdy. Howdy.
Cal's our neighbor. He runs the Circle S Ranch over in Ramona Canyon.
That's right. Best spread in the state. Next to Milo's, I mean.
You better say that. What kind of work did you say you did, Mr. Adams?
I'm a psychiatrist.
A what?
What in the blue blazes is a... What did you say?
Well, it's rather technical, but people come to me when they're ill.
I get it. You're a sawbone.
Oh, no, Dad, Henry isn't a medical doctor.
Oh, a horse doctor.
No.
Well, what other kind is there?
Well, suppose you have a complex.
What in tarnation is a complex?
That is rather hard to explain.
Yeah. Well, let's forget it, huh? Fair tells me you'd like to see how things are done on a ranch. Is that right?
Did she say that?
Well, you got here just in time. Cal here is going to bust Sundance.
Sundance? But, Dad, you promised you wouldn't let anybody else near him.
Oh, well, don't you worry none. There ain't a horse alive I can't ride.
But Sundance is a killer.
A killer?
That's right, he sure is. A regular center-fire, high-flying outlaw. Cal, get Andy and some of the boys to help you saddle up. You better come with me. I'll borrow you some clothes. Them things you got on would scare a horse to death.
Where did you dig that up?
Oh, don't be so smug. You'd be just as much out of your element in New York.
Not me. I've got sense enough to stay on my own range. You should, too. Which reminds me, when are you and me going to get married?
You said we were.
Well, you did once. That was before you started getting them ideas about being a doctor. And there's your dad. You know what he thinks.
I'd better have a long talk with Dad.
Don't be surprised if he's got a few things to say to you.
What's the matter? Anything wrong?
No, it's fine. All fits like a glove.
Why, Henry, you look quite different.
There he is, the meanest, toughest, cussedest, hammerhead cayuse in the whole world. He's a killer, all right.
Yes, I can imagine that.
He sure is. Oh, Cal, I wish you wouldn't try to ride him.
Now, don't you worry, you pretty little head. I ain't gonna let no outlaw come between you and me.
What do you mean by that?
Oh, he was just talking. Oh, look, he's going to rope Sundance.
Just look at that black beauty. Watch him close, Cal. He likes to keel over backwards. He's already put 2 men in the hospital.
Why?
Why? Because he hates men, that's why.
Oh, surely there must be some psychological reason for such a blind hatred.
Boy, you sure are a tenderfoot. There, how in tarnation did you ever tie
Look,
into
they're
such
ready
a...
to go.
Stick with him, Cal. Stick with him, boy.
That boy may be a four-flusher, but he sure can ride.
Yippee! Come on, Sundance.
You're cheering the horse.
That's right.
Are you allowed to do that?
Sure.
Come on, Sundance. Yahoo!
Come on, Sundance. Yippee.
Lie still, Cal.
Cal!
Fred, get a rope on him.
Can I have this?
Henry, come back!
Go, Doc. Get over here. Come on, run for it, Cal, now. Go.
Come on, Henry, get out of there.
Thank you,
Oh,
Henry.
Henry, that was the bravest thing I ever saw.
Boy, that calls for a drink. Come on.
Oh, lemonade or something.
You're the luckiest guy you ever saw. Cal, set up the drinks there, will you? Now, Henry, you got sand, all right, but don't you try to tell me...
I still can't believe that is your idea of sport.
Now, just forget it, son. There's only one way to break a horse.
But why do you want to break a horse in the first place? The horse doesn't want a lot of people sitting on top of it. How would you like it if you were a horse?
Now, that cuts it. That tears it right down the middle. Claire, if you don't get rid of this high binder...
Don't you worry, Mr. Roma. I'm leaving here just as soon as Claire is ready.
Ready for what? What's Claire got to do with it?
You tell him, darling.
But, Henry, I...
All right. Mr. Roma, I came here to marry your daughter and to take her away with me.
What?
She's gonna marry me.
What's he talking about?
The man that marries my daughter is going to have to run this ranch.
Oh, come, Claire. I've had enough of this balderdash.
But what's balderdash about it? Dad's put his life into this place. It means everything to him.
But you told me that...
Wait a minute. I got an idea how we can settle the whole thing.
With guns.
No, that'd be plain murder. Why don't we let the stallion decide?
Sundance?
Sure. This dude's been jawing about the way we break horses. Maybe he thinks he can do it better.
What in tarnation's that got to do with marrying Claire?
I will make it a fair proposition. You want a son-in-law that knows how to handle horses. So I say the first one that breaks the stallion gets the job.
The job?
Dang good idea.
Oh, this is ridiculous.
What's wrong with it? Claire don't want anything to do with a man that don't own one end of the horse from t'other. Do you, Claire?
But Henry's different, Dad.
I'll say he is. He's yellow.
That's it. Must be yellow.
He is not, are you, Henry?
Well, I haven't had much
I
fun.
figured as much.
So you accept the challenge.
But he can't. It isn't fair.
Why not? It's all settled.
Well, you better dust off your wedding gown, Claire. I'll be back Saturday for another crack at that ornery critter.
Say, Cal, there's one little thing you didn't seem to notice about Sundance.
Do you mean that you're actually going through with this when you know you can't possibly win?
I'll think of something.
Well, if you don't love me any more than to practically give me away in a silly contest...
What else could I do? It all happens
For
to...
your information, Doctor, you may be a very good psychiatrist, but you don't know a blame thing about women.
Horse, come on. There's a good horse. Now, horse, please, relax. Take it easy. Everything will be all right in time. Horse, horse, steady. No, horse, I'm only doing this for your own good. If I can just get you alone in my office for a couple of hours, you'll be a changed horse.
What are you doing to that horse?
I'm having an interview with my patient.
A what?
Well, in this interview, I want to determine the basic reactions of my patient. Have you any good books on horses around here?
Books? You ain't gonna learn nothing about horses from books. I'll saddle up a couple of cayuses and we go out for a ride.
Go for a ride. But sure, I ought to master the fundamentals first.
If you're going to ride Sundance before Cal does, you ain't got no time for fundamentals. Come on. Now. Well, you ready?
Haven't we got a tamer one that's a little less wild?
Wild? Why, she ain't hardly got strength enough to switch her tail.
Well, all right. It seems...
Spring up.
It's so high. Haven't you got a sports model rather near to the ground?
Well, they don't come that way, but...
They don't.
Hey, wait a minute. Here, hold this. I think I got the
Hold
very
it,
one
horse,
you
you
need.
heard. Hold. I think I better tie this one to the house, if the house can stand it. Come on, horse. Ah, that's a much better design, yes. Well, look at it. Put the seat on that, shall we?
You won't need it. All you'll need is good heavy soles on your boots there.
Why's that?
Because if you ain't got them, you're going to scrape off the bottoms of your feet, just dragging along the ground. Here, take it easy, boy. Take it easy now. Remember, I told you it was going to burn off the bottoms of your feet.
Off my feet, I'm worried about. I should be having my meals off the mantelpiece from now on. And what about that awful motion of that animal? It was worse than a storm at sea.
Now, don't worry about that. Nothing serious. 2 or 3 days, and you won't even notice.
2 or 3 days? I can't go around like this. What's Claire going to think? She sees me crawling about like a badly winged pterodactyl.
So, Oh, what are you talking about Miss Claire for? She might understand. It's her daddy. He thinks you're a mite peculiar as it is. And if he comes in and finds you in this fix, he might lose what little patience he has left.
Now, what am I going to do?
Spice bath.
Spice bath?
Yeah. A little soaking in that and well, straighten your head up.
What's in it?
Oh, steaming hot water's got a lot of stuff in it. Brimstone essence and mustard, loads of mustard. Yeah, and I just pour it all over you.
I'm not a hot dog, you know. Andy! Come and take me out. I think I'm done. The horse. The name given to the well-known domestic animal. Domestic?
You ought to learn to ride by reading out of them books.
Hey, they're not quite as soft on top as they look, are they?
Oh, I ran into Cal today. Said he's coming over Saturday for sure to have another crack at Sunday.
Mr. Roma, has it ever occurred to you there may be other important things in life beside horses?
What other thing?
Your daughter's happiness, for one thing.
That's what I've been thinking. And I don't think she'll be happy married to no dude.
Isn't that for her to decide?
Nah, she doesn't know what's good for her.
Yours is a very prevalent parental ailment, but I must warn you, Claire is a dangerous type to suppress too long. Besides, by keeping her cooped up here in this ranch place, you're cutting her off from all the creative influences which her nature demands.
What creative influences?
She went to school in New York. Why?
Well, because she wanted to. But she's all done with all that tomfoolery. Claire's a good girl. She'll do like I tell her.
Yes, she will, because she loves you and admires you, and she doesn't want to see you hurt.
You're dang tootin' she don't. And I'll tell you another thing, young fella. No roamer never went back on his word yet. And the first one of you to ride Sundance is going to be the man that marries my daughter, which I don't think will be no dude from no big city.
Mr. Roma, wait. Don't you understand? If you force Claire into this... Oh, no, I'm going to have to ride that horrible monster. These. Good for the eyes, horse. Oh, try it. Have a... Yeah, it's good for the eyes. Good for the eyes. Good. Have good. Good horse. Oh. See if you can take two. These are best. Try. In. Up. Ah. Oh. Claire, look, I've been thinking over what you said, you know, about my sort of giving you away in a contest, and it does seem that we're making a mountain out of a silly little molehill.
Oh, you think the question of whom I marry is a silly little molehill?
No, I didn't mean that. Look, why don't we go back to New York and get married?
Have you decided not to enter the contest?
But it's so stupid. After all, you're not something out of Ivanhoe to be jousted over.
Perhaps you think I'm not worth the risk.
2 days ago, you were against the whole idea. Now, why can't you make up your mind? What I was trying...
I know what you were trying to say. And I'm sure Cal Orway doesn't share your feelings.
Interview number 7. Patient shows marked improvement. It is entirely possible that fear could be eliminated in due time. But just how much time? Awfully stubborn thing, this. Bellerophon complex, complicated by traces of a deep-rooted Pegasus fixation, and just a hint of a traumatic Seabiscuit identification. Well, you're doing very well now. I think that's all for today. Same time tomorrow. You can get up now. Sons, I think that with any luck, we've got this thing really wrapped up. That's so good. Well, so much for interview number 7. I really feel that at last I'm beginning to get somewhere. What's the matter with you?
I always knowed you was a greenhorn, but I never expected anything like that from you. Like what? Doping that poor horse. Oh, I saw him lying out there in the ground. That's the kind of a dirty, ornery trick that Cal Orway might pull.
Andy, I wasn't doping the horse. I was just administering a little psychiatric therapy.
What? That sounds worse than dope.
Well, you don't understand. I've been interviewing Sundance, finding out about his troubles and his problems.
Hey, you mean you talk to him and he talks back to you?
Oh, one might say I have succeeded in achieving a certain rapport.
And he tells you what's eating him?
Now, Andy, professional ethics prevent me from repeating to you what my patient has told me in the sanctuary of the corral.
Bub, I don't know what you're doing, but you ain't got much time. Cal Orway's gonna be over here someday soon to ride that killer.
Now, the cayuse ain't been born yet that can throw Cal Orway twice in a row.
If you can't ride him, Cal, nobody can. And I'd hate to see my little girl grow up to be an old maid.
I wish you wouldn't do this. You may already have done irreparable harm.
Are you sure you're just not getting cold feet?
The temperature of my feet has nothing to do with this. But if Orway here rides Sundance, he may have a nervous breakdown.
I've busted a lot of things riding horses, but I ain't never busted a nerve yet.
Don't pay him no mind, Cal. He's just trying to talk you out of it.
Yeah, well, let him talk. I got work to do.
Oh, don't do it. I beg of you.
That ain't the way we do things out here, son. Even when we don't cotton to a man, we like to see a good fight.
I don't care about the man. I'm just worried about that crazy mixed-up horse.
Go on, stick with him, Cal. Now stay on there, boy. You're making it. That's the boy. Stay on it. Keep his head up there, boy. Don't let him get that hit. Oh, dag-nabbit. I thought sure he'd make it today. Well, it's your turn. You ready?
Tomorrow would be better.
Oh, dag-nabbit.
Henry, aren't you happy you didn't do it?
No, I'm afraid the damage may now never be overcome.
Well, if you want him to win.
Oh, Claire, I didn't mean that. I meant... Oh, nagget, debit, daggit, deb, nagget.
Get back! Get back there! Get back there, get back there! Go on, get back!
No horse is gonna throw me twice and get by with it. I'll break you if I have to kill you.
Get back!
Hey, what are you doing to that horse? Leave that animal alone.
I'll teach him a lesson. Now get out of here and leave me alone.
You stop that. I may have to take steps.
You try and stop me.
Get back there!
I don't want to get mixed up with it.
I'll kill you for that. That'll keep you quiet. Now where are you, you black devil?
What in thunderation's going on here?
Henry, what's wrong? Are you all right?
I'm fine.
Did you do that?
I had a hand in it, yes.
I never would have believed it.
You see, Dad, I told you Henry was quite a man.
He was beating Sundance.
I never believed the things I heard about Cal, but they must be true. Andy, get him out of here and throw him off the ranch.
Yes, sir.
And if he ever tries to come back, you fill him full of buckshot.
Come on, get out of here.
Tell me, does the suggestion that I ride that animal still stand?
Sure, but you're not going to try to...
Henry, don't. You'll be hurt.
I want to take care of the small matter of my cold feet.
Come on, get going. On your way. Go on.
Henry, if you want to marry me, don't try to ride that horse.
We'll discuss that after I've taken care of this.
Oh, Henry! What do you think of that, Dad?
Dag-nabbit.
Now then, what's that little matter we were going to discuss?
Oh, Henry, you were wonderful.
Wonderful, huh? Change your mind again, huh?
Henry, what are you going to do?
In aggravated cases of vacillation of the mind, we doctors prescribe shock treatment, 3 to 1.
Oh, Henry, you wouldn't. Henry!